Hello students, today our topic is temporary retaining wall. So here we have some three types of retaining wall. That is the braced wall, sheet pile wall and soil nail wall. So we'll see one by one. The first one is the braced wall. So the excavation which are laterally supported or a braced cut or we can say braced excavation. The vertical sides of the excavation are supported by a sheeting and a bracing system, and they are relatively flexible sheeting which are placed against the excavation walls. The lateral thrust on the sheeting is resisted by a horizontal member which is called as a strut or we can say a bracing system. So this bracing is provided as the excavation proceeds and the face of the sheeting becomes exposed. So in a braced excavation or which is called as a braced wall, so we have a vertical sheeting and also a bracing system. So these excavation support they are used to keep the sides of the deep excavation stable so that the sides of the excavated wall it will not slide, and to ensure that movement of soil without will not cause any damage to the neighboring structure or to any utilities in the surrounding ground. And these are some examples where we use braced excavation. They are for laying underground pipeline, construction of bridge abutments, construction of basements, metro railway construction, construction of subway tunnels. So all these places we can see this type of braced excavation. So in this picture we are seeing the braced cut. So here we have a vertical member which is called as uprights or we can say vertical sheeting, and to support this vertical sheeting in the horizontal direction we have the rails, and to support these rails on either side we have a strut members. Okay, so if we not provide the strut members or simply if we provide only the vertical members, okay, so this due to the pressure of the soil developed, so it will deform. So in this picture we can see in the second and the third picture we can see it will deform. So to avoid this only the vertical members are supported by rails and also the struts. And this is the vertical timber sheeting. So this vertical member, so it may be in the form of sheeting. So here it is made up of timber. Okay, so we have a vertical timber. So all the vertical timber it is available in the form of sheets. Okay, so they are arranged vertically, and in turn they are supported by rails, and the rails are supported by struts. Okay, and in the second picture B, so here instead of having struts, we have the rackers. Rackers is nothing but the inclined member, so that we will have enough space to work inside the excavated area. So this picture we can see. So here they have the inclined members, which is called as the rackers. And one more type is soldier beam. So here instead of having the vertical timber sheeting, so here we have a soldier piles or we can say soldier beams. So here, so it is like a hatch pile. So this hatch piles are inserted or driven into the ground. So in this picture you can see the vertical soldier piles are inserted at equal some intervals, and these are in between these soldier piles we have the lagging. In this we can say at the bottom picture we can say the lagging. So we have the soldier piles, so in between that we have a lagging. So laggings are nothing but the wooden planks. Okay, so they are placed one above the other. So it is somewhat like ready-made compound wall. So in the ready-made compound wall, first they will drive the piles, and midway that they will insert the slab. The similar way here, first they will drive the H pile, then in between the gaps they will place the or insert the lagging. Lagging is nothing but the wooden planks. Okay, so it act as a vertical sheeting. It act like a vertical sheeting, and again we have the same rails and the struts. Okay, so in the before method directly we have vertical timber sheet. Here instead of a single timber sheet we have this type of arrangement. We will first drive the H pile, then in between the gap we will have we will insert this lagging. So these are HU piles which are driven at suitable spacing of 1.5 to 2.5 meter around the boundary of the exposed excavation. As the excavation proceeds, the horizontal timber planks, which is called as a lagging, are placed between the soldier beams. And when the excavation advances to a suitable depth, then the wales and the struts are inserted. Okay, so here we can see soldier beam and the lagging. So these are some sites where doing this type of soldier beams. So here also we can see, first they will insert the soldier beams, or we can say HU piles, then the gaps are inserted by lagging. And here also the one method is tie back system. Okay, so instead of having like after forming the soldier beams, instead of having the struts and the wales, we can have a anchored system, or we can say tie back system. As usual, they will drill a hole, they will insert a casing, they will insert a tendon or a rod inside the casing, then the gap is filled between the concrete. Okay, so it is called as a tie back system. So first we will have the soldier beams and the lagging, that provision. Instead of having wales and strut, we can have this anchored method, or we can say tie back system. Okay, it is tied or anchored with the soil behind the soldier beams. So here no bracing in the form of struts or inclined rankers is provided. Therefore, there is no hindrance to the construction activity to be carried out inside the excavated area. The tieback is a rod or a cable connected to the sheeting or lagging on one side and anchored into the soil or rock outside of the excavation area. And the inclined holes are drilled into the soil or the rock, and the tensile reinforcement, which is called as a tendon, is then inserted and the hole is concreted. An enlargement or bell is usually formed at the end of the hole. So all this comes under braced wall. So braced excavation means we have the vertical members. It may be either vertical timber sheets, or we can go for either soldier beams. Okay, and we have the wales and we have the struts or rackers. So bracing excavation in the எல்லா arrangement, vertical member, the horizontal members, and the struts or rackers it will consist of. Okay, and nowadays we are going for the steel sheet piles. Okay, steel sheets pile. So instead of having a timber sheets, we have the steel sheets. Okay, just we have it is available in different forms also. So just we have to connect the steel sheet piles, and then we have to drive into the soil. Okay, and again it is also connected with or supported with wales and the struts. So it looks like this. So at the site you can see in this form. Here also you can see. So these steel sheets, it is available in this form. Okay, at the end you can see you have a groove like koki mari irukkum. Okay, so whatever length you want, you can connect it with each other, and whatever depth also we can go for. Okay, so it is readily available. So whatever length or depth we want, we can have it. So these are some sections of steel piles. You have U piles, Z pile, and straight pile. And the other type is the column piles. So in the previous one, sheet piles, the supporting system, that is the vertical members, is in the form of sheets, vertical sheets. Here it will be in the form of column piles. Okay, so here also we have some two types. And before that we can see how the patterns or how the column piles are arranged. So here we have some patterns. The first is independent pattern, that is the piles are arranged independently. The second one is the S pattern. The third is the line pattern, and the fourth is overlapping pattern, and the last one is the mixed pattern. So these are some of the patterns how we arrange the column piles. Okay, so in the column piles we have two types. One is the contiguous piles. Okay, So here we can see, so in the contiguous piles, we have the reinforced column pile. The piles are reinforced, okay, reinforced concrete, and they are arranged with a minute or a small gap between the piles. So here we can see. So in this technique, the reinforced concrete unconnected piles, the piles are not connected with each other, they are unconnected and are installed in the periphery of the proposed site. The contiguous pile wall is designed in such a way that it resists the lateral earth pressure of the retaining wall or retaining soil, and the width of the gap between the piles varies between 50 to 500 mm according to the ground condition. So depending upon the ground condition, the gap between the piles are maintained about 50 to 500 mm, and the diameter of each pile varies from 300 to 1200 mm, and the soil in between the two piles are stabilized by shotcreting. So we have a gap between the piles, two piles. So these are filled with the concrete, that is, which is uh, using the technique called as shotcreting. So shotcreting is nothing but through a hose, through a pipe, okay, under pressure the concrete is sprayed, okay, so that is called as shotcreting. So the gap between the piles are filled with this concrete by the process of shotcreting, okay. So this one, so we have the piles, continuous piles, reinforced concrete pile, and the gap are filled with concrete. And in the previous one, we have a gap between the individual piles. So in the case of waterlogged area, then we don't have the water tightness, okay, we don't have any waterproof. So to avoid this, they are going for a second type of pile, which is called as a secant pile. So here the piles are interconnected. So how they are interconnected is, we have two types of pile. One is the primary pile, which is made up of PCC, plain cement concrete, and we have a secondary piles, which is the RCC. So they all are interconnected so that we have a good strength and we have a good water tightness. So this pile overlap is typically in order of 3 inch, and the principal disadvantage of contiguous pile wall is that the gap between the piles and the resulting problem of lack of waterproofness are effectively overcome by this interlocking, or we can say secant piles. So in the contiguous pile, the piles are arranged individually, and we will maintain some gap, and these gaps are filled with concrete by means of shotcreting. And in the second piles, all the piles are interconnected, that is PCC and we have RCC piles. They are interconnected with each other so that we can have a water tightness. And the last type of retaining wall is the soil nail, okay. So this type we can say mostly in hilly areas, okay. So this is also similar to the anchored one, so what you have seen in the anchored excavation, but here we have a special type of nail, okay. This is which is called as a soil nail. The same thing, we will drill a hole, we will put a casing inside that, then we will place this soil nail, okay. We will place this soil nail inside that, and the gap is filled with the concrete, okay. Then in the outside we will have a anchor head, then we will connect it with the bolt and the nuts. So these holes are drilled at suitable interval. So all this thing, it depends upon the soil conditions. So it looks like this, okay. So they are drilling the hole, then they will place the soil nail inside that, then the place between the soil nail and the casing are covered with concrete, and the exposed surface is look like this on the top, and on the top what they will do is they will place a mesh. So here we can see, so this is actually an exposed one, it will look like this. So here in this picture we can see, okay, so after drilling a hole and placing the concrete, and after doing all the thing, or that is fixing the soil nail, to have a smooth surface, they will place a wire mesh above the surface, okay. So that will have that is to get a smooth surface, they are doing like this. So they will place a wire mesh, then above that they will spray the concrete by the process of shotcreting. Through a hose under pressure, they'll spray concrete over this wire mesh, so that this nails and all this bolt and nut, everything will go inside this concrete, so that we will have a smooth surface. So here the bottom they have shown how the wire mesh are arranged. So like this. So through the hose they'll spray the concrete, so that you will have a it looks like somewhat concrete surface, plastered surface, like that. So here they are spraying the concrete under pressure. Okay, this is called a shotcreting. Okay, thank you.